Hello. How is everyone? I mean, why is there a blue there? How is everyone? I know it's a very shorthand stream. Um, it was a very, what's the word? Spontaneous decision. So, sorry, I got quickly distracted there. We're gonna play Blade Song today. Blade Song is basically a smithing game, very story driven. It's in early access since Monday, I want to say. And I've played it before the early access, played the demo and stuff like that. I thoroughly loved and enjoyed it. I've already played around a little bit with the creative mode, but we're gonna take a look together at the story driven mode, the story mode, and if I enjoy it thoroughly, this might become a series. I don't know how far the story currently is, I don't know how deep and how representative it is of the final product. All I can tell you for sure is that from all I've seen from the demo, I loved it. Hey Cap, welcome in. Just in time. We're just about to play the game. How are you doing? Just in time. Just in time. Is that a relative of Justin Bieber? Old people joke. Anyway, let's start. In clawing darkness you writhe, you cling to life by the tips of your fingers. Something takes shape in the emptiness, contours of flesh tracing along familiar lines. A withered old woman's face floating before your own. When she speaks, she has the rasping voice of a raven. Who are you? The swordsmith? The survivor? A saint? Oh my god, it has a gender neutral way of being addressed. I'm in love. Dying? Wrong. It's not yet your time. The sundering claimed untold lives, yet you endured when so many around you perished. What did you do to survive? Mercenary, leader, wanderer, or slave? Mercenary. I joined a band of sellswords forging the blades used in our butchery. When the last of them died in battle, it was time for me to start over. This background grants +3 toughness and may open unique dialogue choices. Later, we built a settlement at Osterhall. I was the smith and the spokesperson. For many years we held out. One by one I buried them all. Diplomacy. Wanderer. I plied my trade from settlement to settlement, gathering hard-won knowledge about a world that is falling apart. Slave. I was too useful to kill. I was traded back and forth as a prize between warlords who kept me chained to a forge. When I saw my chance, I escaped. I think I prefer Wanderer. A cold hand touches your brow, water cools your burning throat. You kept something through all your hardships. A keepsake from a better time? What is it? An artisan toolkit for a creative playstyle grants a bundle of leathers and pigments for more creative freedom early on. A family heirloom, a story-focused playstyle, grants a unique family heirloom passed down through prior generations of your lineage. A bottle of rare old world spirit for an optimization-focused playstyle grants a bottle of precious liquor to boost your progress. It's a close call between an artisan toolkit and a family heirloom. But we're here. I mean, I've done the creative style. Done the creative mode, so I'll go for the story-focused playstyle. The fire is burning itself out, leaving you a damp shadow of your old self. You claw blindly in the darkness until more waters tip down your throat. What do you believe in now the voices have abandoned this world? Ambition, continuity, freedom, compassion, nothing. It's always freedom for me, sorry to say. Defiant to the end. You can shake your fist all you like, mortal, but you can't stop what's coming. I'll leave you with one final question, and I don't expect an answer. What will fill the silence the voices left behind? As the old woman's face retreats into inky blackness, sparks flicker into life behind her. One by one, a field of stars burning with sickly pale light. Like seeds taking root, they twist and expand, their tendrils branching and burrowing through the darkness until I've strangled it with light. Now wake, Smith. You still have a part to play in humanity's final act. A new day has dawned. Is there no sound to this game, or have I just turned it off so far? Okay, that's a bit loud. How's this? How's this? Your eyes flutter as you gain consciousness. You're faintly surprised to find yourself alive. Either death did not come for you, or when it did, it found you unyielding. You sit up, gasping, sweat-drenched. The fever has broken. You're in a tent. There's no sign of your caretaker, apart from a half-empty water pail and a damp cloth on your brow. You peek out of the tent flap, squinting against the sunlight. Outside, as far as the eye can see, stretches a chaotic sprawl of tents and shelters, churned mud and shallow graves. Most of your rations are gone. Your horse was already dying when the fever took you. Its body's nowhere to be seen, but now it's likely soup. You're on your own. A lifetime on the road, selling your wares, sleeping under trees, learning the secrets of the world. Every year it got harder, landmarks vanished, bridges collapsed, outposts fell to ruin. At last you were forced to seek a sanctuary. It was a long journey to Iron Keep, through dust and despair. Your last memories are of sliding from your dying horse, your numb legs tracking furs in the mud as someone dragged you to shelter. But who? Inside the tent is a crude field forge, completed with an anvil. Did you crawl here in the days? Or did your mysterious caretaker bring you here? Either way, the anvil gives you a feeling of home. It seems to have been abandoned for some time, lacking anyone with the skill to work it, but it won't require much effort to get it running again, should you need to make a living out here. Hopefully, it won't come to that. First you should head to the gates and try to secure entry in Iron Keep. That's what you came here, after all. Welcome to Camp Swordsmith. People will come to you with commissions. You choose which commissions to take on. Commissions refresh daily. Select the highlighted button to choose your first commission. Owen. Your first customer is a gaunt man in tattered cloth. He approaches you, noticing the anvil outside your tent. You're a blacksmith? Can you make me a sword? I've got the coin for it. Just make sure it's good and long. I don't like my enemies to be in hawking distance, if you get my meaning. Alright. To rotate the camera, hold the right mouse button and move the mouse. To move the camera along the blade, hold the middle mouse button or Alt plus right mouse button and move the mouse. Use the tutorial flag in the top bar to revisit any information you've already seen. Customers have different requirements which your sword must fulfill. The top left panel shows you progress towards commission requirements. Hover the cursor over the blade length requirement to see helpful details. A required length between 38 and 58. Let's start shaping your blade. Click the plus button to add change length ability. You can apply light or heavy hammer hits to alter your blade. Let's start with light hits. Click on the ability to hammer and lengthen it. In order to make large changes to your blade, you can build up strength with heavy hits. Click when the hammer is at the highest position for a heavy hit. The longer your chain of heavy hits, the more your blade changes with each hit. Now that the blade length requirement is met, let's flatten the blade. Click the plus button to add change thickness ability. Feel free to use light or heavy hits as you please. Hold shift for even lighter hammer hits. Let's make the blade wider using the change width ability. Hammer point on the sword. Usually customers want to accept the sword with a point. The cross-section ability makes a blade sharp. Let's add it. The ability has two steps. First, you need to give the blade a sharp edge. Watch the cross-section display on the top right to get a better understanding of what's changing. Hammer until the blue line on the blade turns orange. The edge is now sharper and you can further adjust the shape of the cross-section. Keep hammering until the hexagonal shape becomes a diamond shape. Great, your blade is complete. Click on the hilt mode button to start working on the hilt. In hilt mode, attaching parts costs resources. Keep an eye on the resource panel to see how much you're spending. Your customer requires a two-handed sword, so your grip section needs to be long enough. Attach a second grip part to the first. Okay, in that case I need to start with the... Let me fix that. Yeah. Aha, there we go. That's the way I wanted it. You can detach sword parts again by clicking on them. You will get your resources back, so feel free to experiment. When you're happy with your two-handed hilt, let's make some final adjustments to the blade. You can use the revisit abilities to edit or delete them. The number next to an applied ability shows its intensity. Editing abilities has no cost, feel free to experiment. Press X to flip the direction of your hammer, then hammer to a narrow blade. Perfect, this commission is fulfilled, so it's time to sell the sword. Click on the button above. The man takes a sword and jabs at his shadow experimentally. A slow grin crosses his face. This should do the trick. Thank you, Smith. Here's your payment. I mean, for my first sword, it is definitely a blade. Congratulations on finishing your first sword. Another customer awaits. Word is already spreading around camp about the new smith. Your next customer is a weary looking man with a bald pate. His hollow eyes are darted back and forth. I heard you came down with a wasting fever. Lucky to be alive, you are. Anyway, can you modify the sword for me? Scavenged it from the ruins. But it hasn't got enough of a point to it. I want something I can stab into a thief's belly if I need to. He hands you a sword with a sharp edge, but a rounded tip. As you hold it up to the light, he leans forward conspiratorially. I've only had this blade 3 days, and I've felt people's jealous eyes upon me. If they come for it at the night, I won't be able to give him a short, sharp stab. Customer wants his sword altered. The rounded point needs to be turned into a narrow point. Visit the point ability to reforge it. Nice work. When you fulfilled all requirements, the commission is complete and you can sell the sword. The man takes the sword and tests the point, smiling at the bead of blood that welts at his fingertip. Then he stows it away, glancing around the camp as he so does. Folks out here will take everything from you if you ain't vigilant. Keep a keen eye out, Smith. He scurries away, his back hunched as though against a non-existent downpour. You just received a scrap item. Go to your inventory to inspect what you received. Salvaging turns scrap items into useful resources. This costs a small amount of action points, so it's perfect use for leftover points at the end of a day. Hover over items to see descriptions. Interact with them to salvage. Smith's companion would... Okay. There. Can I? No. When your action points are spent, it's time to end the day. If you end the day with any action points left, they will be lost, so try to use them up whenever you can. I made 35 thaler. That is an interesting map. Outer gate. Passage to Aaron's Keep is barred by a colossal gate, taller than a ship's mast. It was built to withstand enemy armies, but since the Masked King's ascension, it mainly keeps out the desperate masses seeking his protection. Examine the magical barrier. It's only visible in the half-light of dawn, but when it pours with rain, a faint shimmer that rises from the walls and captures Aaron Keep in a vast dome. For a city to have survived this long past the Sundering, it must have an extraordinary defenses. We've heard that some surviving outposts have guardian dragons, or shrouds of impenetrable fog, but none have as perfect protection as Aaron Keep. It is as though the songs never ended. Attackers, human or otherwise, are simply unable to breach the dome. Poisonous miasmas dissipate harmlessly against it. Plagues are kept at bay. Within the sanctuary, crop grows without withering, water runs clean, and people can sleep without fear. If such miracles can exist in a world without the voices, surely there is hope for the future. You are now inspired. As you approach, the porticules rise to admit a caravan, and chaos breaks out. The crowd swells like a rising tide. Refugees push forward, begging for entry, and the guards batter them back with their shields. The merchant wagons barrel through, the drivers using horsewhips to lash stragglers out of the way. You don't get far before a guard grabs you by the shoulder and flings you down into the churn. What? Not on my watch. He gazes down at you like a fisherman disappointed with his catch. I want to enter the keep. You're a citizen? Or got yourself a worker's permit? No, I don't. Then get out of here, applicant. Stop wasting my time. Applicant. That's the euphemism the guard uses to refer to the desperate hordes camping at the gate. There's a nicer ring to you, suppose, than refugee. I have useful skills. I'm a blacksmith. Every applicant who comes here is begging as a doctor or a master glassmaker or a damned alchemist. You think I was born yesterday? If you're a smith, prove it. I can show you a sword I made. And how am I supposed to know you're telling the truth? I've got a sword too. Doesn't make me a smith. Buzz off, little fly. You return to your tent, where your makeshift forge awaits. You're hardly at your best, working with such limited materials. That's all you have for the time being. Won't be long before your cache of steel runs out. Since it seems you're going to be here for longer than expected, you should make it a priority to find a merchant in this forsaken place. Nicely done. You finished the tutorial. From today on, you'll have more action points to spend. You won't be able to complete every commission, so pick the ones you like the sound of. The game will open up from here, don't be afraid to explore. Here are a few resources to get you started. Lincoln. Jovan. A scruffy young man slides up to your anvil, glancing around nervously and picking at a half-healed scar on his face. I found this blade in the lost city. It's not in great condition. Think you could make it usable again? Huh. Okay, what does he need? He wants to keep his broad point, and I need to get the sharpness up, so that means I need to work at the width. Cross section, I guess. Let's taper. Okay, broad point. I have no balance though. Ah. There we go. That is definitely... Guess it's a broadsword. Maybe a bat. Well, no, it's a broadsword for sure. The handle doesn't quite go there, but I guess. Interesting. He grins as he takes the weapon, swinging it experimentally through the air. Wow! This is going to come in handy. Thank you, Smith. Alright, let's see. Dalian. Hello, Smith. Nice setup you've got here. What can I do for you? There is a gang that comes round my tent every night. Regular as clockwork. They kick the beat out, take our rations, push our faces into the mud. You'd think there'd be some solidarity out here, but, well, there ain't. We've managed to hide the last of the coin from it so far. But who knows for how long? Has spent coin on a good sort, I reckon. So I can protect what's mine. Okay, what does he want? He wants a two-handed with a narrow point. And a high speed. Two-handed high speed. Dude. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's take down the thickness of the blade. That's good. Now let's check on the width. Considering he wants high speed, I shouldn't make it too wide. Let's give it a narrow point, as he said. There we go. Narrow point. How do I edit the speed? The sword speed is the highest when the sword is light and has little mass near the point. Longer handle further improves the rating. Okay, let's check on the handle then. Ah, nice. I need more speed though. Let's take the thickness down one further. Okay, that doesn't work. How about the cross section? There we go. Oh, that's a very classic sword. The Blicken stands a little straighter as he tests the weight of the blade. It's perfect. Should see the blunt rust daggers to spool his way around. I put some real fear in them. Thank you, Smithy. Maybe my kids will will get to keep their food tonight. New pigment, indigo. You earned a skill point. Open the skill tree to spend it on improvements. Allows you to scale sword parts. Unlocks advanced cross-section controls. Allows you to forge symmetrical blades. Yes, please. That seems awesome. Okay, got 2 more action points. Scarred woman dumps damaged weapon on the anvil with a loud clang. Look at this used piece of dross. I'm fed up pretending to think kill man. They can get it back to work order. Oh my goodness. Okay, we need a higher sharpness, which makes sense. The thing is blunt as hell. And she wants a regular point. Thickness. There we go. Regular point, sharpness. That's better. She hefts the weapon with satisfaction, testing its balance. Good as new, maybe better. Why, I bet it can slice the lids from a man's eye before it can blink. Cheers, Smith. My nieces will lament your name. End the day. Let's check on the camp. Outside the walls of Iron Keep, desperate souls gather in the makeshift tents, pleading for entry. Introduce yourself to the neighbors. The tents near you are mostly occupied by unfriendly, suspicious folk, spit on the ground when you approach, and ward you off with threatening gestures. There is one exception, however. A young woman who actually smiles as you approach, though her eyes are haunted and hollow-set. Glad to see you're feeling better. You were in death's door for a while there. You looked after me? Not exactly. Dragged you to safety after you fell off your horse. Thank you for that. No problem. The old woman did most of the work nursing you back to health. Checked in now and then, but she told me you were still recovering. Where is she anyway? Haven't seen her in days. She was gone by the time I woke up. I've no idea who she was. Huh, strange. I assumed she was a relative of yours. Must have been just a kind-hearted old soul. Count your blessings. There's not many of those around this camp. Aye, it's nice to see a friendly face around here. Good to meet you too. Name's Sheaf, short for Shavana, but only my mother calls me that. She's been dead for 10 years. She's painfully thin and covered in grime, much like everyone else in the camp. She's the first person you've seen smile though. What do you imagine goes on in Aaron Keep? I'm starting to forget what civilization used to look like. As long as it's better than than here, I don't care what it's like. In Aaron Keep, everyone eats like an emperor, and only the streets are paved with beer. It's safe in there. Moss King looks after his people. Somewhere you can set up shop, build a real business. Not just scrape by. You make it sound so easy. I wish I had the skill I could build a business around. All I know is how to survive one day to the next. She lapses into silence. Somewhere in the distance, a scream rings out. You both try to ignore it. Do you know anyone selling materials I could use for my forge? I heard someone says that there's a scrap peddler in the Lost City, selling all sorts of things. Be careful if you go to the Lost City though. That place gives me the shivers. Alright, bye. Before you can leave, Sheaf grabs your arm. There's a wild desperation in her eyes. I've been stuck out here for weeks. Not everyone in this cab as friendly as you. I'm sure how much longer it can last. Can you do me a favour? If you get into Aaron Key before me, find a fellow named Lucas Boriona. He's my uncle. If he knew I was out here, he'd help me, I'm sure of it. Of course, I'll let him know you're here. Thank you. She rubs her eyes. Look at me, getting my hopes up. Lucas Baronia. Remember the name. Sheaf lifts her hand in farewell as you walk away from her tent. He smiles as fragile as porcelain. Scavenge for food. The tragedy of the applicants' camp is indescribable. So's the smell. There are no sewers out here. Not everyone bothers to go to the outskirts to use the latrines. Tucked away from the squalor, you find a pocket where desperation hasn't completely taken hold. Children are playing in the mud. A few scrawny chickens peck at the ground, miraculously uneaten. As you pick your way through, wary eyes track your movement from tent flaps. Some calling out to alert the neighbours to the presence of a newcomer. At the centre of this little commune, you find a family crouched around the huge-looking cooking pot, simmering with meats and scrunched vegetables. A little girl tosses a handful of wild herbs into the stew. Your mouth waters. A father and a mother, a gaggle of children, a grandmother with a face like an ancient apple, even a dog rolling on its back in the dirt, tongue wagging. They're rough-looking sorts, filthy and gaunt, but you're not exactly presentable yourself these days. As you get closer, the man twitches aside his cloak for a real heavy wooden club. His wife hands start her dagger on her belt. The dog snarls, hackles raised. They all look at you carefully, awaiting your next move. Oh there, stranger. Name's Bennett Maunder. Here's my wife, Trienne, and her ma, Ginda. You can take three names of the nippers too if you like, but I get them mixed up myself. The young woman smiles wanly, throwing her hand from the dagger's hilt. The old woman just nods, her expression in the lost in the mass of wrinkles. Children cluster behind their father, peeping at you and giggling. Smot's name is Clodo. He's a good boy. Keeps the vultures away. With the word vultures, Bennett's expression darkens. Clodo sneezes disdainfully. The dog lifts a lip and snarls as you approach, but at the last moment it's a little sad and allows you to scratch behind the ear. Clodo seems to like you. That's good enough for me. Good boy. Clodo's tail wags wildly, stirring up a cloud of dust. You mentioned vultures earlier? Aye, human vultures. He doesn't elaborate further, but his shoulders stiffens. What's in the pot? It smells incredible. It only smells good because, from the looks of you, you haven't eaten a proper meal in weeks. Come on, pull up a rock, grab a bowl. This hugely generous gesture, meat out here as precious as gold. This man has children to feed. Sit down and join their meal. It's hot and thick and rich with meat. It's the best thing you've ever tasted. For the first time in weeks, the hunger in your belly ceases its howling. Where did you find all this food? See those big merchant caravans that come trundling through the camp every day? A box of rations fell off the back of one of those. That's some luck, ain't it? It's not Casey. Teach me your ways. In truth, I'm not sure I could do it again. Timing was perfect. Gods were distracted. The merchants had all caught the wasting fever and could barely lift their heads. You can't rely on that kind of luck. How long have you been camping out here, Bennett? Almost 2 months now. Every day I beg the guards to let us through. They're not interested in the likes of us. They're over as a trade though. They'll take our nippers and I in and keep them safe Trienne and I go work ourselves to death in the mines. Then who would look after old Gilda, eh? What do you think, Gilda? The old woman bobs her head, smiling vacantly into the crackling fire. She gives no other sign of having heard you. I agree. Gilda won't survive out here. Alone. Aye, it's the truth of it. So we're stuck out here for the time being. Don't worry though, we'll find a way to get ourselves past the gate. Pleasure to meet you, Bennett. See you later. Away from the Maunders, the atmosphere of the camp reasserts itself. Unfriendly glares, distant sobbing. You draw your coat closer around yourself and hurry back to your tent. Climb into your bedroll, enjoying the rare feeling of a full belly. You are now well fed. Alright, what do we have? Ooh, you're paying a lot. A young woman who approaches the anvil has sharp, quick eyes that never stop scanning their surroundings. Judging by her scars, she's had some close scrapes in her past. Zoea. I'm going to head into Lost City and find stuff to sell. People say there's treasure there. Stuff that was left behind, old tool scrap, maybe even some gold. But the Lost City's dangerous. Things aren't in the dark. I need something to keep me alive out there. Call it an investment. Okay, what are you looking for? You're looking for a sharp, one-handed sword with a broad point. Pretty long. Okay. Thickness. One-handed, broad point, so better make it pretty thin. Width. Good enough. Okay, broad point. There we go. Use the asymmetry feature to create a single-edged blade or add decoration to one side of the sword. For most abilities, you can set which side of the blade are influenced, left, right, or both. Click the asymmetry button to cycle through. Pretty long blade for being one-handed. Better add a heavy point. She examines the blade with a practiced eye. Wield a blade or two in my time, but this one's special. Thank you, Smithy. You reached Level 3. Human being, very silent. No, don't mention that. Ah, that movie's evil. There we go. Now we can scale parts. What else do we have? Bennett. Bennett Monter approaches the animal with Clodo trotting faithfully beside him. Darktail wags in recognition as he spots you. Good hiding, Smith. Just thought I'd drop by, take a look at your forge. It's a nice little setup you got here, ain't it? I was lucky. The forge was already here when I arrived. That is a stroke of luck. Still, I wouldn't wave for him. What? No. Silent Waver. Sounds shockingly catchy. That's stroke of luck. Still, there's a lot of banned stuff lying around camp. People die and leave the things behind. Pauses to scratch Clodo behind the ears, then straightens with a sigh. Tell the truth, Smith. This ain't a social call. Just looking to commission a blade from you. I brought this on. Game's a dangerous place. We're getting more dangerous by the day. Could do with a good sword if protect my family. Any experience with weapons? Oh, with swords, no. I kept order at my old tavern with a stout cudgel when needed. Drunk men are easier to handle than desperate ones, but I do know a bit about hurt man. What can you offer? I don't have much coin, but I've got goods to barter. Stuff I scavenged from wrecked wagons and ruined farmhouses. Clodo whines softly and nudges against Bennett's leg. The children, Trianne and Gilder, they're depending on me to keep them safe. Please, it's got to be worth something. Funny story about waivers. The last time I had a waiver, it had a larva in it, which, you know, ever since then I do not manage to touch a waiver again because it, blech. I was eating at home. Also, frogs. You're just taking a piss at my European thinginess again, Casey, aren't you? You're evil. Very evil. Hope you know that. He wants a narrow point. Wouldn't have guessed, honestly. There we go. It's kind of like chicken wings, but it tastes like fish. Chicken texture, fish taste. Glad to hear you liked it. Let's see. Duke. Duke and Duke. Duke. Merca. Hey, that's a sword. Thank you, I think. It's just a big letter opener. It's pretty long for a letter opener. I mean, look at the values up here. It's like a meter long. Where's the actual point of balance? I mean, yeah, okay, I get it. 19.28, but where is 19.28? It's not the size that counts. Huh? What do you mean, Casey? Some people are pretty tall. Bennett takes a sword with reverent hands, his weathered face lighting up. Clodagh whacks his tail. I ain't much about swordsmith, but this one feels good in my hands. He makes a few careful practice swings, testing the weapon's weight and reach while Clodagh watches approvingly. If any more vultures circle around my family, they'll find more than they've bargained for. Between Clodagh's teeth and his blade, the monsters can hold the ground. Hopefully, you'll never need to draw it. Sometimes, just having a blade on your hip is enough to make the bad swords think twice. But if push comes to shove, I'll be ready. Thank you, Smith. Here, take this. Found it in the ruins. Produces a gleaming necklace. Clearly valuable. This is too much, Bennett. You can't take this. Please. Out of everyone in this forsaken camp, you're one of the only decent people I've met. We have to look out for each other. If you ever need anything, company, hot meal, whatever, you know where to find us. Come on, Clodagh. New sword part books, twisted grips. New pigment, saddle brown. Let's see, what do we have? Heavy shackles. We're a bit out of steel, so it's probably a good idea to take care of that. Twisted grips, a minor sword part book teaching the following sword part designs: grip twisted, grip grist twisted mild taper, grip twisted smaller taper, grip 3-root mild taper, and 2 more. These parts are for creative decoration. Your customers are not going to ask for them. And the day. Lost City. The scrap peddler can be found here. Yeehaw. Not all Varenkeep was granted the Masked King's protection. In centuries past, the city spilled beyond its ancient walls. Now the barrier, which traces the wall's course, has left these outer areas to the mercy of the wastes. Nicknamed the Lost City, these crumbling districts have been picked over by countless looters, but rumors persist that there is worthwhile treasure to be found amongst the rabble. Lost City has been endlessly picked over by scavengers whose hopes of finding something are slim, but irresistible. Shards and rubble crunch underfoot as you trudge down empty streets. Sure enough, one by one, the half-collapsed shells of houses prove to offer something of value. Come across the counting house, where merchants once hoarded coins and tracked debts. It squats like a petrified toad between grander buildings, its faded paint flagging like dead scales. Doors blocked by a slab of fallen stone, as big as a man. Woohoo! Sweat pouring down your back, you manage to move the slab inch by inch. Slipping through the gap you created, you find that most of the rooms hold only empty strong boxes. But in the cellar, beneath loose flagstones, you find a cache of gold ingots. Some clerk's hidden embezzlement, never retrieved. For a moment you think you've lost your way, then you spot a fountain you recognize. Its statue cracked and headless, its remaining water just puddled of black slime. You breathe a sigh of relief. This is familiar territory. As night draws closer, the shadows of the lost city come alive. Hidden eyes from high places. You scurry through the ruins, feeling small and vulnerable as an insect. Fortunately, the scrap peddler is easy to find. He warms his hands over a blazing fire in an empty market square, accompanied by a sad-looking mule pulling a cart full of junk. He is an off-putting sight, most of his face bandaged, the exposed areas massive festering sores and flaking skin. You dread to think what the bandages are hiding. Not contagious! Not contagious! The peddler points at itself as he shouts. One yellow eye peers madly at you through the gauze. What kind of melody afflicts you? Not contagious, I swears it. It doesn't seem to fully understand your question. Taking a look at him, his disease looks like it's either leprosy or a terrible skin condition. Either way, best not to get too close. I have many things. I find them in the dark places. Sell to you? But take this the wrong way, but I'm surprised no one has killed you and stolen your goods. Ha! I'm good at hiding. Found, caught, and blood and pretend to be contagious. The bad man around a mile. But I'm actually not contagious. I swears it. What do you sell here? Many things. Much to be found for those who know. How do you find all this stuff? Dark place called to me. Found forgotten things there. Points vaguely downwards. The mule retches as though ready to expire. Can I see your wares? But it's too dark. Dark times for taking my favorites. Not giving. Come back in daylight so you can see what you're buying. What you is buying. Yes. A new available vendor is available at your forge. Scrap peddler. Bid goodbye to the peddler. Partners forever and always. Yeet. His rotten grin sends a shiver down your spine. The sun slips low in the sky. The shadows of the ruins lengthen. Time to leave. You hurry back to the camp. Like the lost souls camped among these black ruins, you still cling to the hope of entering Varenkeep. I mean, I hope so, Casey, but if it's any good, you guys have to tell me. A few hours past midnight, you're woken by a soft, silken hiss. A blade slices through the fabric of your tent. The fabric falls away to reveal a pair of gleaming eyes, a crescent of yellow teeth, a gaunt figure with a knife in his hand. He steps carefully into your tent, apparently thinking you asleep. Behind him are the dim shapes of other men. Each night you bury your tools and you coin a new location. There's not much in the tent they can steal, They don't look like the types who will be happy if they don't find anything worthwhile. Hey, what are you doing? The man freezes, his grin widening. Oh, awake, is here? Might be easier this way. Hand over your coins, food, anything you got. His companions enter the tent behind him. 3 more men, all rail thin and desperate. The leader takes a menacing step closer. I have nothing worth stealing. Let's try. You get the blacksmith. You got money somewhere? He nods to his companions, who begin rummaging through the meager possessions. But they don't have any luck. Their coins and tools are burned beyond their reach. Where's your stuff? Tell us or I cut your throat. Wait, I can offer you something much more valuable. The thief pauses, eyeing you uncertainly. What you mean? Just give me a few days and I can equip you with a much more fearsome blade than the rusty butter knife. Man strokes his chin, his eyes gleaming with imagined power. Here's the counter offer. We steal your stuff anyway and then we make us a start. Or we kill you. If you steal my stuff, I won't be able to help you. Need my tools and money for steel. Got it all figured out, don't you, Smith? Fine. Start making the blade. I'm not happy with it, I'll cut your throat from ear to ear. The thief melts away in the night, leaving you alone, sliced open tent. That'll require a few hours of stitching or repair, but you're too tired to attempt it now. You manage a few more hours of fitful sleep before dawn breaks. Vendor, scrap peddler. You make your way through the lost city, the harsh daylight throwing the ruins into stark relief. The sound of your footsteps echo eerily in the crumbling silence. At last you reach the scrap peddler square, a rubble-strewn market plaza reclaimed by weeds. The peddler perks up at your approach, his one visible yellow eye widening with excitement at the prospect of a customer. Say, you the prettiest trinkets for you, yes? Survey his wares. What do we have? Sword essentials. Modular thinking. Twisted steel. The scrap peddler dances around excitedly, his bandaged hands fluttering over his collection. The mule retches pitiably. You nod curtly to the peddler, eager to be on your way. Tell your friends of me. Tell them I'm not contagious. Not at all. Okay, let's do the thief first, just so I can get it done. This morning, a man you recognize all too well lingers by your forge. In the light of day, he seems much more smaller and scrawnier than last night. The rusty knife in his hand looks as deadly as you remember. He's flanked by his equally unpleasant companions. His eyes gleam with anticipation as he swaggers forward. Well, well, Smith. I'm just here to make you seem sure you remember your promise. Want a blade? Proper one. Else we're gonna have a problem. Runs his tongue along the edge of his knife, never taking his eyes off you. Working on it. You better be. Gonna be back in a few days for my sword. If you disappoint me, I put you in the ground. Okay, he doesn't want a particularly long sword. Let's make it as light as possible. Question is, I keep the width as it is. Once an arrow point. Hand and a half. Taper the blade, making it less stick towards the point. Alright, let's see. Commission requires a hand and a half grip. Place the grip part, then grab the handle at the end to make it longer or shorter. Use one long or two short grip parts to achieve a hand and a half grip. There we go. Don't like how they do not. They don't line up perfectly. Ah. Much better. If I could, I would make it a messer, which would make a lot of sense. To be fair, I mean, I lack a few things to make it a proper messer, but I could get closer than this. Then again, it's for a thief. The thief snatches the sword from your hands and makes a few practice swings, grinning wider with each slash. Now, this is more like it. It's a real weapon. No one's gonna mess with me now. He points the blade at you, grinning like a cat with a mouse in its claws. Get good work, Smith. Real good work. Just remember our deal. That sword squares us. You kept your word, so I keep mine. No more midnight visits from us. But if I were you, I'd be really careful about who else I make blades for. Wouldn't want anyone getting ideas above their station, if you catch my meaning. Swaggers away, the sword resting over his shoulder, followed by his pathetic entourage. Alright. Yay! Level 4. What do I need to do this? I need to reach level 5. Okay. So I can only do this. No points left for the day. Let's end the day. So you can stay in the forge. Stay in the forge for the day. May, Jason, Drea. Let's turn to Jason. The man who approaches the fort is brooding and silent, starved face and shaven head lending him a skull-like aspect. When he speaks, his voice is a hollow rasp. A blade. He glares at you. You don't get the impression he's in the mood to answer questions. There. Alright, he wants a narrow point. Let's see. Some abilities like cross sections feature advanced controls that allow you to further customize your shape. Once your ability reaches 100%, advanced control becomes available. Select the hammer to change various shape parameters. Okay. Spine width. One-handed. Skull-faced man takes a sword, giving it a cursory glance before stowing it under his tattered cloak. It suits my purpose. I don't have a lot of steel left, which might turn into a problem. Yeah. Survey the bears. How much money do I have? A little bit. Wait, can I sell him stuff? Okay, let me sell some gold because I At some point I probably could need it, but not right now. Nice. Inside the walls of Iron Keep, desperate souls gather makeshift tents, pleading for entry. The camp is an appalling spectacle, an ocean of mud and flies, with gaunt men and women scraping off living amid the filth. Not far from the tent, recent rains have swept away the soil on a mass grave, exposing glints of yellow bone. Only rats are well fed out here. You find Chef sitting outside her tent, gnawing at a chicken bone that's already been picked clean. Nice to see you again. I'm just enjoying my dinner. Obviously some, but I'm still waiting for my summer year to pay the perfect wine. How'd you end up here? Grew up far west from here in Curvey. Lived in a beautiful port town. On certain mornings, the sea and the sky blended together into one shade of misty blue. It's like looking into hazy abyss. Ship suspended in the middle. And the sundering happened. Since then, I've been hopping from settlement to settlement, disaster to disaster. A few years ago, I heard that Iron Keep had survived. No better than survived, it had thrived. Safest place in the world, surrounded by a magic shield that kept both plagues and monsters at bay. The name sounded familiar, then I remembered. My dad used to tell me how his fool of a brother had moved to Iron Keep to make his fortune. Not such a fool after all. Guess not. Your family had moved with him. In any case, that's how I came to be here. My uncle's the last member of my family left alive. I'm sure he'd make me in. Sure he'd take me in. If only I could get through the damn gate. Tell me more about what life was in Curvey. Do I have to? Dwelling on good memories is beautiful but painful. Like gazing overlong at the sun. I understand. Thank you. What's the latest gossip around the camp then? Oh, you know, the usual things. Petty fights and thefts. People die and new people turn up their wastes to replace them. Do you have a plan of getting into Iron Keep? Of course. Got a skill team assembled with lockpicks and grappling hooks. No, I don't have a plan for getting in. Making this up as I go. Failing miserably. Do you know anything about the magic barrier around Iron Keep? It's appeared shortly after the Sundering, right? At the same time as the Masked King took the throne. Don't want much more than that, sorry. Thanks for stopping by. Bennett and his wife are nowhere to be seen. Only Gilda sits in her chair, smiling vacantly while the children stoke the fire and scrub out their own pot. Clodo the dog trots up, wagging his tail at your approach. The oldest of the children, a boy with the thin limbs and a sour face, looks up from his work and glares. What you want? Where are your parents? Trying to score us more food. As soon as we get some meat, it seems can't help but give it away to random strangers. He glares at you. It's obviously a thinly veiled accusation. It would have been rude to turn down your father's invitation. It wasn't about to pass the opportunity, starving. I won't forget your father's generosity. He's made a friend for life. What use is that? Our lives ain't lasting much longer at this rate. Doc pushes into your hand, tail whipping manically. Didn't catch your name, kid. Sandrick. Boy just grunts when you bid him farewell. Clodo runs excited circles around you when you leave, then bounds back to resume guarding his family. Lying wait at the camp's outskirts as twilight turns to dusk, a wagon appears in the horizon, its enormous spiked wheels churning up a storm of dust in its wake. Black armored guards sit atop the wagon, wielding fierce-looking crossbows. If they spot you, you're likely to end up punched full of holes. But you're in luck. A child runs out of the front of the wagon, almost ending up minced beneath the wheels. The wagon pulls to a halt as the guards shout at the boy to get out of the way. One look at those crossbows is enough to convince you that crime doesn't pay. You slink away, leaving the wagon to trundle towards the outer gate in peace. You climb into your bedroll, massaging your swollen joints and trying to ignore the rumbling in your belly. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. Oscar, the desperate-looking man, shuffles forward, unwrapping a battered blade from a dirty cloth. I haven't taken proper care of this. Been too focused on just surviving. Can you fix it? He wants me to take a point. Oh my goodness. Point there. That's proper regular point. And sharpness, cross section. There. He examines a repaired weapon with amazement, running fingers along the restored metal. It's like you brought it back from the dead. Oh, you smithy. He's sold. A woman stands at the anvil, her eyes scanning the horizons. She flinches as you approach her. I hear it at night, you know, circling, screeching, getting closer. What? The others say I'm mad, or we left the thing back in the waste. But they didn't see what I did to what it did to my brother. The way it looked at me as it tore him limb from limb. It didn't hunt like an animal. It watched me, enjoyed my fear. She had followed me all this way. Hey Marco. No worries. Welcome in. Sounds like a good blade at your side could come in handy. I don't know what a sword can do. It's something like that. But I figure having a sword is better than having nothing at all. Point. She wants broad point. Alright, let's see. That's good. Ooh. Well, that's not a broad point anymore. Dang it. Okay, no. That looked weird. Okay, let's make sure this blade gets a false edge. Now let's see edge thickness. Let's actually turn this. Okay. Yeah, that way. Okay, convexity. Alright. Nope. There. How's this one treating you? Well, I knew the game before I played it because I played it in the demo. That's why I was quite excited to finally play it on stream. I was just waiting for a moment where I get the time to do so. Indigo pigment. There we go. Blue. You know what? Blue blade. It's not a particular sword. Good enough. She weighs the blade in her hand. Balance is perfect. When it comes, I won't hesitate. Not like before. Not like when I ran and when I left them. She pauses. The pause lengthens until it becomes clear that she won't speak again. You know, a sword can only do so much if you know how to use it. It'll do enough. I heard it again last night, closer than ever. Let it come. I'm not scared anymore. And let's check the scrap peddler. Show me your wares, man. I need much more steel. 50 should be enough. That's enough for 2 swords. 10 leather. Okay. Still have 2 actions left. Let's see what Avia needs. A woman shuffles forward. Her eyes red-rimmed and haunted. She has a sword in her hand that's clearly seen years of neglect. My husband passed away a few days ago. This was his blade. Told him it needed maintenance, but he insisted it was fine. What do you think, Smithy? Yes, this blade clearly needs some work. Thought so. Could you fix it up for me? I'm alone. I'd like to have a weapon I can rely on. That is a gladius. Well, it's a bit long for a gladius, but... Huh. Let's make the point narrower. Okay, can't make it there. Take width, take thickness. Take width. Change width. Good enough. Ugh, I used so much steel on that. Whatever. She traces the restored blade with trembling fingers, tears in her eyes. It's not a letter opener. What kind of letters are you opening, Cap? This is so much better, even to the untrained eye. It was barely worth carrying before, was it? Thank you, Smith. Liamo. A scruffy young man slides up at your anvil, glancing around nervously. Confidential? I can't tell you. Glancing around nervously and picking at a half-healed scar on his face. I found this blade in the lost city. It's not in great condition. I think you could make it usable again? Alright. I've seen this blade before. Okay, let's do the point first. There. And now cross section. There we go. He grins as he takes the weapon, swinging it experimentally through the air. Wow, this is going to come in handy. Thank you, Smith. End the day. Let's check the lost city again. Lost City. Nicknamed the Lost City, these crumbling districts have been picked over by countless looters. But rumors persist, there is a worthwhile treasure to be found amongst the rubble. Search the ruins for valuables. Search for hours, but no luck. This part of the city has been picked completely clean. Just as you were about to give up, you found a broken cart wheel lying abandoned in the gutter. It's not much, but it could be salvaged for wood. Sun slips low in the sky. The shadows of the ruins lengthen. Time to leave. Dun, dun, dun. Brian. Something is tossed at your feet. The broken remains of a sword. The blade is snapped in half. My old blade finally gave out to me. It wasn't much to look at, but I've carried the thing with me since the world fell apart. I felt naked without it. Can you replace it? Can't be defenseless. It's a brand new day. Yes, it is. Brand new day. What happens to defensive people in this new age? Alright, let's see. You want a narrow point one-handed with a leather grip and a certain sharpness. Tuck, 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 tuck. There we go. I mean, he wants a narrow point, right? So I can go pretty thin on the blade. There we go. Ooh. This one's gonna be a rapier. Hey, Nova. There we go. Okay, one hand. There. This looks like a cane sword. Okay, leather. Kinda like this one though. It's pretty sharp. Very pointy. Call it Stinger. Thank you, Smithy. Must haven't still at my side. Might even be better than my old blade. Hope this one lasts as long as that did. They carried me through the Sundering and all the trials that followed. Alright, what else can we do? Not much. I have a bit of money. Let's see. Peddler, survey the wares. Sword essentials like a new guard, a couple pommels, quillen blocks, guard gladius, guard two tendrils, rapier cup, Brazil nut. Yeah, I want that one. What are resources looking like? Good enough. Goodbye to the peddler. And the day. Fine. Let's do some almost shovels towards husband. Didn't we do your work like a moment ago? I guess it's a different blade. Let's do the thickness first. Now the cross section. There we go. And she wants some adjustment to the point. Huh? Oh. High weight. Why? Fine. There. She traces a restored blade with trembling finger, tears in her eyes. Yeah. We did your task like a second ago. Jimji. An old man limps towards the anvil, a worn blade in his quivering hands. Sort of seen better days, Smithy. Can you help? Ooh. Pretty. Pretty. Alright, it's pretty thick groove though. I guess it's a good way to spare some steel. Let's do the cross section first. Let's start at the top. Let's check this area. Thickness. There we go. Inspects the blade, running his thumb carefully along the edge. Much better. Good work, Smithy. Let's check the Lost City again, I guess. Nicknamed the Lost City, these crumbling districts have been picked over by countless looters. Search. Come across what might have been once a warehouse, its roof sagging under the weight of years. Search it. The shelves are picked clean, the crates broken open and plucked of any valuables. You comb through the wreckages in case there's something that was missed. At last, you find something at the back of the warehouse, hidden under a mouldering blanket. For a moment you think you've lost your way, then you spot a fountain you recognize. A sigh of relief. This is familiar territory. You head back. The sun slips low, the shadows of the ruins lengthen. Time to leave. A bit of wind whistles through the ruins, stirring the weeds that cluster in the rubble. It sounds almost like a voice calling your name. You hurry back to the camp. Like the lost souls camped among these black ruins, you still cling to the hope of entering Erin Keep. Alright, what do we have? We have a Ilasana. Let's take a look at this one. ruined helmet, a horseshoe, a leather bag, some silver. That's a profitable one. What does this one want? Narrow point, one-handed with black pigment and a sharp blade. Pretty long. The woman who approaches the anvil has a sharp, quick eyes that never stop scanning her surroundings. Judging by her scars, she had some slow scrapes in her past. We've done this one before. So what is the setting of this exactly? More fantasy and historical medieval? Fantasy. Post-apocalyptic fantasy. Think Sword Coast after the Second Sundering. One-handed narrow point. With a narrow point I can take a bit of the width. There we go. Cross section. You should upgrade your knowledge on that part. It's quite interesting what the lore behind D&D is quite interesting, and it's kinda... I would like to explore it more than to every DM making up their own world. I like this one. It's very simple, but it works. It's also reasonably cheap. I have a bunch of Dritz books I still need to read. Yeah, you've been saying that for 2 years, I'm pretty sure. Allows you to bend sword parts. Unlocks engraving of blade sword parts, increases your finesse by 1. Unlocks the ability to curvature. Unlocks the ability to do fullers. This one first. Ooh, there were thalers inside. Nice. Silver. Precious metal for sword making, used for purely decorative purposes, once associated with Murmak, the voice of the moon and wisdom, and said to ward against the shape changers. Another blade from the deep beyonds. You want a broad point? Let's do that first. Okay. And a certain sharpness. There we go. Ooh. As you bury your tools for the night, you never can be too careful. You hear a heart-piercing scream. You find the camp in chaos. Figures run back and forth, knocking down tents, wailing, stumbling. The sun has just slipped below the horizon. Darkness begins to fall. As you search for the cause of the panic, there's the sickening thud. Corpses falling from the sky and landed up your bonfire, quenching it instantly. A winged shadow circles above, blotting out the emerging stars. Lets loose a shriek that turns your bowels to water. Judging by its screaming cry, it's a Volguth, a nocturnal predator and among the worst monsters that the war unleashed on the world. Sleep for months, then they wake in a feeding frenzy. The subsequent feast can depopulate an entire village. The whole camp is in terrible danger. You also know that they hunt for following sound and movement. If you stay quiet and still, you should be safe. Some around the camp are drawing swords and trying to organize a defense. You recognize your recently forged blades among those waving in the air. The creature's first dive is repelled by blades jabbing in its scathing limbs. It's too fast, too massive. Retreats to the air and then swoops down elsewhere, targeting other defenseless prey. It descends on a fleeing woman, its jagged forelimbs plucking up the doomed soul. The beast descends. A few minutes later, the victim's carcass splatters on the ground. You grab a sword and join a defensive ring that has formed around a group of wailing children. The beast swoops down, crushing into the circle with bone-crushing force, scattering armed men in all directions. Take a swing. Yeah. Your sword clatters uselessly against its leathery hide. Monster turns and swipes at you in retaliation. You leap out of the way and the beast reaches past you. Unprotected children scream as the creature snatches one of their number. A little girl looking small as a doll. The monster's talons, her face a picture of pure terror. She twists and writhes in the monster's grip. Momentarily breaking free, it lunges at her a second time. You dart forward and snatch the girl, just as the beast claws close to the empty air. Rolling away with her clutched against your chest, you feel the wind from its wings as it descends once more. The child trembles like a wounded bird, her tear-streaked face pressed against your shoulders. You carry her back to the scattered defenders. The camp is vast, and you can't protect everyone. The slaughter continues unabated. At last, as more and more refugees flee for the cover of the lost city ruins, the beast strays too close to Aaron Keep. The invisible barrier crackles, suddenly alive with pale blue energy. Fierce tendrils of power skitter in all directions like cracks spraying through glass. The beast shrieks in agony. Chastened, it swoops away, finally abandoning its banquet. A terrible silence falls, broken by occasional sob. At long last, it's over. You wander to the camp, reuniting separated families and comforting the bereaved. Finally, once you're so exhausted you can barely stand, you stumble back to your tent and fall into a dreamless slumber. The morning air is crisp, the sun shines in devastation. Survivors wander the camps, some clearing away the bodies, others drifting aimlessly. Tattered tents, extinguished fires, bloodless corpses scatter the camp like autumn leaves. As you're surveying the carnage, a woman in a patchwork shawl hurries towards you, face pinched and gaunt. She's dragging a small girl by the hand. You're the smith that saved my girl from the monster, aren't you? She was in its claws. The woman chokes back a sob. I wish the voices were still around so they could bless you for what you've done. She presses a few coins into your palm. I don't have much, this is all I can give. I can't accept this. With some difficulty you manage to convince the woman that you don't want to take her pitifully small savings. Luck be with you, Smith. Thank you so much again. As she hobbles away, her young child stumbles along beside her. Can't help but feel a surge of pride. You stop short when you arrive at the tent. The iron pot has been knocked over, the fire has burned itself out. The tent itself is a tattered rag, soaked in blood and gore. He's ripped the tent apart, and ripped apart those within. There's more than one body, they're too badly mangled to tell apart. A torn remnant of old gears and patterned grass flutters in the breeze. Clodagh is nowhere to be seen. You turn away. You find her standing outside her tent, clutching her forearm, eyes fixed in the middle distance where the creature had vanished. She doesn't notice your presence. The Volgath only feeds once every few months. It won't be back tonight. She jumps, startled, and then offers you a wet smile. Telling me this thing might be coming back in a couple months. It's not as comforting as you seem to think. Better get into her and keep soon. I'm sitting ducks out here. Prey waiting to be picked off. It's gone. Don't worry. I hope you're right. You're right. Lucky to be alive, I guess. She drops a gaze, finally, from the sky. Did you lose anyone you knew? Yes, the Wander family were killed. Oh, how terrible. I mean, I didn't know them, but it's awful. She falls silent for a respectful moment and sighs. Thanks for checking in on me. There's a lot of hurt people out there. I'm going to see if I can help. As you make your way back to your tent, you spy a growing crowd forming around the outer gate. A mob has formed at the gate, shouting at the guards. It's a volatile situation, born of grief, rage and fear. Survivors of the attack voice a common complaint. The guards did nothing to stop the massacre. But really, their complaint is more basic. They're still stranded outside the city, with no reprieve in sight. You suspect the guards would happily retreat to their stone parapets, but the wagons are rolling in. The gates need to be opened. Guards fan out from the gate, trying to keep the shouting refugees at bay with their shields. Back! Get back! But the usual tactics won't work today. One by one, the refugees draw swords. Sharp blades glare in the morning light, and you recognize your own handiwork. Drop the weapons, or... The rest of the watchman's words are lost in a gurgle as someone thrusts a blade through his throat. The mob surges, the guards retreat, shouting for reinforcement, while the wagon is toppled onto its side instead of flaying. Looters pull crates from the burning wreckage, yelling in triumph. You beat a hasty retreat as more and more guards pour out of the gate, swords drawn, ready to enact bloody vengeance on any applicant foolish enough to have lingered. Well, that's something. A middle-aged woman approaches the anvil. Years of hardship have scored deep lines on her face. You need a weapon, Smith. Something small and light so I can hide it under my shawl. The camp isn't safe anymore. Peoples are getting desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. I've lost too much already to get here. I won't lose what little I've left to thieves and cutthroats. Well, she wants a messer. That's sure. Luckily I can actually make those now. At least approximately. She wants a narrow point. There. Okay. Cross section. Coming up with an interesting shape here, I think. Wait. Let's not take this, instead put this there. I remember at one point I looked into any community college office blacksmithing classes, then I saw the price tag. Blacksmithing is a very, very expensive hobby, yeah. Okay, not to toot my own horn, but that is a very nice dagger. Should have stopped updating. What do you mean with again? I didn't have that issue in a while. Fact checking. Chat. GBR chat. There. Alright, that should fix it. Very symmetric is not quite the right word, but the taper matches up very well with the handle. I need to increase the weight. Let's change the width. Nobody mentioned it during the voice practice stream, or at least I didn't see anybody mention it. This dagger has become a, what's the word? Chain breaker. If you get stabbed by this and the person that stabs you turns the blade in the wound, you're done for. This is just a cruel weapon that I've made there. It needs a different handle though. Yeah, Gladius handle. mention it, but it got lost in chat, especially since it wasn't updating on screen. Fair point, thank you. Well, it works again now. This weapon is cruel. Have I mentioned that this weapon is cruel? Anyway, what do you want? Saddle brown. Cow leather, wood, saddle brown, there. Oh, the weight is too high. Are you kidding me? The weight is too high. Okay, change thickness. Let's lower the thickness. Okay, yeah. That's good enough. Your blade is not sharp. What do you mean my blade is not sharp? It's very sharp, look at it. Complexity. This is turning into work. There we go. She takes the weapon, testing the weight carefully. Grip is uncertain. Thank you, Smith. I would never have cause to use this, but it's good to know that I have it if I need it. Maybe now I can sleep through the night without jumping at every sound. It's worth more than any coin. Resources saying, well, not peachy, but good enough. Alright, I'll do one more day and then we'll head out. Couple of people are alive today, so there's a high likelihood that we'll actually raid somebody today. Though the one person I did actually want to raid isn't online anymore. Twitch, you're very funny. Twitch is giving me a recommendation of who I should collaborate with. And one of these people is me. I should collaborate with myself. Twitch, what do you mean? Let's check the camp. Still in tatters, I guess. Outside the walls of Iron Keep, desperate souls gather makeshift tents, pleading for entry. You find Chef sitting outside her tent, gnawing at a chicken bone that's already picked clean. That's just the same story as last time, isn't it? How are you holding up since the attack? Well, I still have trouble sleeping at night. But I'll survive. A lot of people were killed, good folk who are out here in open, trying to save others. Why are the good folks always the ones to suffer? Leave chef to her meal. Thanks for stopping by. You spot Clodo, Bennett Maunder's dog, digging up a bone from the mud. When he notices you, Clodo runs up, wagging his tail. Then he dashes off, pausing to look back. Does he want you to follow? Follow Clodo. You follow Clodo through the ravaged tents, covering your nose to keep out the foul smell of death and disease. At last you arrive at the spot where the Maunder's tent used to stand. Now there are 5 freshly dug graves in its place. Beyond, you spot a small figure crouched over a dwindling fire. You recognize Sandrake Maunder, Bennett's oldest son. If he recognizes you in turn, he shows no reaction. His face has been etched into a permanent scowl. Clodo runs up to the boy's side and lays down. The boy scratches his neck absent-mindedly, poking at the fire with a stick. Share some scraps of food. You pull a hunk of bread from your pocket, your meal for the night. The boy's eyes light up. As though afraid you'll withdraw the offer, he quickly snatches the meal from your grasp and splits it in 2. Half goes to Clodo, who snaps it up in 2 bites. Thanks. Do you remember me? I know you. He says nothing more. His voice carries far more weight and grief than is right for one so young. Those graves back there, are they? He simply shrugs. Looking around, you can see no evidence of his family. The once vibrant Maunder clan has been reduced to 1. Well, 2. Clodo's here, comforting the boy as best as he can. Sorry to what happened to your family. Is there anything I can do to help? The boy gives no reaction. Clodo whines and rubs his head against his shin. Dog nuzzles as you pet him, growling contently. As you turn to leave, the boy speaks up. If you come back and I'm not here, look after Clodo, will you? For dog got's no one else in the world. Clodo barks, his huge tongue lolling out of his mouth as his tail beats dust from the floor. Leave the 2 of them together, boy and dog, along in a hostile word. Please stay off each other. You climb into your bedroll, massaging your sore joints and trying to ignore the rumbling in your belly. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. As the grey light of dawn flitters into your tent, you hear the tramp of boots through mud, the alarmed cries of your neighbors. Something is happening. Watch out, Smith! The guards are in camp. I think they're here for... Tent flaps open and torn open. Tent flaps are torn open. One of Aaron Keep's guards peers in, sword drawn. You! Out! As you climb out into the light, a rough hand sees you. Looking around, you can see a full squadron of guards have ventured in the outer gate, led by a woman with pinned black hair and severe glare. She's standing over your anvil, contemplating it with an unreadable expression. It is them, Sarge. The one's been arming the applicants. Recognize the fellow as the same guard you spoke to at the outer gate. There's a tree over there that looks a good height for a noose. Shall we get started? Wait, what? You're going to hang me? A guard was killed in the riots and 2 more in the infirmary. Thanks to you arming this rabble with blades beyond the station. You told me you were the one who told me to prove I was a blacksmith. Shut up. He looks ready to say more, but his commanding officer raises her hand. The guard shuts his mouth instantly. Sergeant Glenn, wherever did you get the idea you were going to hang this individual, Corporal? But Sarge, the guardsman's dead. Someone has to pay. The applicant who killed Briggs has been slain, along with 6 accomplices. Justice is done. If we blame the sniff, what's next? The man who dug the ore and killed him too? Sarge! One more word of your mouth and I'll have you flogged. You're supposed to be on the lookout for a swordsmith. Now I see there was one under your nose for who knows how long. Rank incompetence. The guardsman suddenly seems very interested in his own boots. So, what do you want from me? You have no use to Iron Keep if you're an untalented smith. Make a sword for me. Something I'd be proud to have on my hip at the parade ground. If I'm satisfied with the quality, then congratulations. You're Aaron Keep's newest swordsmith. If I'm unsatisfied, Maybe I'll let the corporal you hang you after all. The guardsman brightens up at that. I'll forge your blade to make you envy of Keep. My swords helped fight off the monster that attacked the camp. Try to get no credit for that? We don't care about the herd out here. Way I see it, it's good if something comes along to thin it now and then. Bring the sword to me at the outer gate when it's done. At a shout from the sergeant, the entire squadron swivel on their heels and march back toward the gate, jabbing spears at any applicant who gets too close. Friendly bunch, are they? Missing sword part books, twisted steel, and curved blade ability. Okay. Let's see. This one will keep me working whole day. Lots of silver, bit of horseshoe. In the camp, almost everyone is starving. The man who approaches the anvil is oddly well fed, his face fat and pink and healthy. Hinrus. Well met, Smith. Could you make me a smart? Something long, vicious, sharp enough to kill a bone. Got a spot for hunting to do later. You know how it is. What kind of hunting do you do? Oh, it's a secret, my friend. If everyone knew where to find cheesy prey, why they all would succumb to temptation. And where would they leave me? On an empty fork? I'm hungry. Perhaps we should share a meal. There's something suspicious about your manner. I don't like it. Just make me the swordsmith. Isn't that what you're here for? A high impact, high sharpness blade. Of course. I mean, why not? Okay, what point do you want? You want a broad point. Cross section. Feared. Okay, edge thickness. Let's see about the spine width. Okay. Let's taper the width towards the point. Nope. Took away from the sharpness. Taper. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, not that. Let's see about the hilt. I mean, this for sure is a gladius. Just needed to make it a little bit sharper. Oh, the point doesn't help me there. Hey, there we go. That weapon looks vicious. I need to be able to take it off like a helicopter and a jet. Yes. I mean, look at this. It looks so unyieldy. And on top of that, it's one-handed. I mean, it's basically a weird combination between a gladius and a broadsword. I'm sure if you hit with this, it's gonna hurt. It's just... It weighs 3.5 kilograms. That's way too heavy for a proper sword. Even like great swords weigh about 3 kilograms. A bit less, but you know. It looks interesting. It reminds me of that one great sword that you were looking for that time in Elden Ring, Marco. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. He wants it. Thank you, Smithy. My night falls. I should start my next hunt. Oh god, he's hunting humans, I bet. Ow. Let's see if I can find anything useful in the Lost City. Nickname, search the ruins, step cautiously into what used to be an alehouse. Its weathered wooden sign still showing the faded image of 2 tankards clashing. Tavern's roof kept the rain out, like most of the surrounding buildings. Search the alehouse, past scattered chairs and smashed bottles, you make your way to the bar. In a dusty corner you find a small drum. Someone attacked amid the chaos. Other than that, there are no items of any value or use. The sun slips, the shadows of the ruins lengthen. Time to leave. A bit of wind whistles through the ruins, stirring the weeds that cluster in the rubble. It sounds almost like a voice calling your name. You hurry back to the camp. Like the lost souls camped among these black ruins, you still cling to the hope of entering Key. Oh, happy day, oh, happy day. Sorry. Alright, show me what you've got. I don't need this. I have enough wood. I mean, this one could be leather. I think I'll keep leather. I would like this one. I would like some steel, some leather. Alright, good enough. For now at least. I need the twisted steel book. Modular thinking, twisted steel, that one. Fine, gimme. Oh, next level up. My god, if it doesn't look like God's glaring slay, I have corporal bloodthirsty Anya. Well, she wants a curved sword, which only makes sense if which she doesn't, because she's a guardsman, is into quick fighting style, like solo fighting, or if she's riding on her horse. We didn't see her on a horse. I don't know if like curved blades have any meaning in the way of what's the word? Status, because she said she wants a blade for her status. I guess we'll find out. Not today though. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was our first dive into Blade Song. I mean, I knew beforehand that I enjoy this game, right? Uh, I'll tell you again that I enjoy it. It is, I don't know. It hits the spot, you know? Um, I'll send you over to another German streamer once again, uh, if I can. And I'll quickly head out. So, but if you want to do me a favor, I'd be very happy if you use my raid emote as usual. Stay safe, have fun, and I will see you all around.